It's an Irish band called Redneck Manifesto. It's really good. Like it's just all instrumental, so it's there's no lyrics to distract you or anything. So it's really good.
I was just gonna say, depending on what the most expression.
Oh yeah, well, ideally won't hear it that well because whenever I have played music loud enough, it copyright mutes it. So I'm okay with it just being like a little bit of background noise. Sure, we'll see how it goes. Okay. So, for anyone curious, I am penciling and inking a piece today. I normally just ink on here, but I'm going to try and pencil this too, just to show that. Oh, well, I can, I guess. Sorry for the shadow on this. I normally use a light. This is the light I normally use, but you can see when I use it. See if it shows up now, but it tends to do this kind of weird stripe effect on the camera, which will probably just drive it mad. Yeah, I don't know if you can see there's a bit of a flickering effect to it, so oh yeah, I'm just using a softer light which is casting the shadow, so but that's okay. Hey Dave, Panda. Yes, it is David. Yeah, I sold 5, so I'm gonna try and do them over this next month, maybe like one a week. I was, if some of you recall, I was doing sorry, thinking and talking and trying to be arse sometimes. I was streaming a good bit, but once I got busy with actual work, it got harder to maintain the regular streaming. And then I was doing a Return of Wolverine book, and that was pretty time intensive, so I really didn't have a chance to do any streaming. But yeah, I got some fun ones. So one of the commission requests was Vivek from Injection, and I haven't drawn him in a while. Well, that's not true. I've done him in a couple of head sketches, but I haven't drawn a proper shot of him in a while. So I thought that would be fun. And Happy New Year to all of you. Hey, Frikwa. I'm going to be honest, I've forgotten everyone's real names by now, so I'm just going to be going by the handles. wait, Frickway, you're Rick. I know. There you go, my memory's not as bad as I thought. What is up with you, Rick? You were off serving there last I was talking to you. Or you're about to, I mean. I assume you're back from your tour. This is actually a little weird. I don't normally pencil streaming because it's a little bit more nerve-wracking drawing in front of people. Inking is different because I know I've nailed everything down, but I'm definitely feeling the eyes right now. Because I don't like how this is. I don't know, we'll see. I'll likely rub this out and then tweak it. Yeah, got that snooty look. I think I'm actually okay. Anyway, how are you guys? Oh, you're still on tour, huh? On tour. Don't think that's the phrase at all, is it? Oh well, man. Look, if you're going to go to bed, go to bed. I'm sure you need your rest. Okay. Problem is, I was drawing the body before the head, so I need to refigure some of this. Three months, right? Fair play. Hope the holidays were okay, on the way over there. That must suck. Although you're probably well used to it now. Yeah, I have to rub this out and tighten it up, I think. There's this thing, like hairy. I don't know if this makes sense, but sometimes drawing gets very hairy when you don't know what you're doing. So you can see I'm really messing this up, and I don't want to get too heavy-handed with it because then when I'm inking it, the paper's all scratched and messed up. So it's better to get down some bad lines and then rub out and kind of. Sorry, I'm I'm not used to talking and drawing. It's been a while. You speak English. You fail English? That's impossible. Can everybody hear me? Whatever. Does anybody notice an improvement in the video? Ah, that's nice. Steaks. Not too shabby. So this is chest, this is waist, this is knee, these are feet. Cool. Yeah, I feel bad I bailed on the old streaming, but yeah, priorities. And there's no way I could have done it. Like, I got everything in just about when it was needed. I finished Wolverine, the last issue of Wolverine, like just before I was going to India. As ever, any questions or what have you, just ask away. I'm going to be a while at this because yeah, I'm not, as I said, I'm not used to penciling and in-game commission, so it's probably going to take me a couple of hours. These shoes are not fancy enough at all for Vivek Headland. It's pointy off. Oh, I see, right. So you drilled them yourselves. Yeah, I can't imagine army steak is that appealing. Regulation steak. Trying to figure out these folds is always fun. I really like drawing the folds at the end of trousers, but making sure they don't look goofy is always a task. I'm actually looking at a photo of somebody in a suit to help me kind of. It's not the exact same pose, but it helps me kind of figure out the. Let's see how that's looking now. Remember, sometimes I'm drawing it in that slight angle, so it's looking okay. Sometimes you don't want things to look too straight, even though he's very stiff. I want to make sure that there's a kind of a tilt to his That's a little tweaking. What were the other 4 requests? The other 4 requests, actually, I'm missing one, I think. I have to have a proper look, but the other ones, somebody wants a bone costume Moon Knight, or they said, like the regular Moon Knight or bone costume. So I said, hey, how about the bone costume? Because I don't get to draw that one that much. So they were cool with that. So I'm looking forward to that one. There was Vivek. There was a Batman, and a person was very nice. They said, hey, you might be sick of drawing Batman, so let me know if you want to draw something else. But I always like drawing Batman. It's just hard to try and come up with a new pose every time. And somebody else asked for something called Lady Snowblood, which I've never heard of before in my life, but it turns out to be a lady from a Japanese film, some kind of assassin lady, and she looks pretty class. Actually, I think I'm going to look for. I'm going to enjoy that one. And yeah, the 5th one I don't think they've specified yet, so I'll probably have to wait a while to do that one. Dave, did I pick anything up on the Comixology Christmas sale? I didn't, David, because I dropped my iPad in the bathroom and shattered the screen into like a bazillion pieces. So I need to get that fixed first before I commit to any sales. Yeah, my local comic book retailer will be happier because I'll be buying more comics. But I do like having the. There's some stuff I like reading digitally, so I'm definitely going to get that fixed. And I've been toying around with the idea of maybe getting an iPad Pro. Not so much for drawing, but at least having the capability. That way I can give the one I have to my mum. Let's see. But I looked them up and they're expensive, so I might just wait a little while. Yeah, poor iPad. She served me well. I mean, she still works. I just, I think if I get the screen fixed, I can flog that off to my mum. She'll be none the wiser. But maybe just save up for a newer model in the meantime. Because I think it might be handier to do writing on the iPad Pro, just carrying it around and stuff, than even though I have a very lightweight laptop. And I wouldn't mind the not that I want to do any digital sketching or anything like that, but I wouldn't mind having the option for colouring since I started colouring more. If you guys have noticed. Yeah, I mean, I use the iPad Pro for. I don't watch a lot of movies unless I'm sick. If I'm sick in bed, I'll watch the shit out of some movies on the iPad. I use it for reading comics. I've got a good app for reading scripts on it too, where I can kind of make notes and stuff. That's pretty handy. So I definitely get my money's worth out of it. But if I'm going to get another iPad, then yeah, I'd want it for more than just reading comics, which I use it a lot for. See, this is why I generally don't stream the penciling. This is probably boring as hell. Seeing this, seeing me massacre this page over and over and over and over. The inking is way more satisfying to I'm sure to watch, but definitely to draw. Yeah, I think it's a bit better. How was your Christmas, David? Other than spending money on Comixology. Yeah, it's better. He looks lankier now. I think I was missing that. You fellas are too nice. I took a photo of myself to get this arm right. Yeah, what's shaking for you guys? It's been a while since I've streamed, like months. Ah, that sounds great, Dave. I meant to pop into Limerick before I came back to Dublin, but just kind of didn't. Actually, over Christmas, I didn't see. I saw very few friends, which I normally try and catch up with, but like some of them now they've got kids and stuff, so it's harder to get to meet up with them. And cousin of mine had a wedding, so that was kind of a lot of that family stuff. So I actually mainly stayed inside and sat on my hole watching TV and hanging out with the mother, which was pretty nice actually. I was trying to describe to somebody because I was telling them I was just watching shite on TV, and he worked in a bar and he was like, I don't know how you can just like watch shite. Well, it wasn't shite, I was just watching whatever was on. But to kind of explain to him that I'm always, if I'm not working, I'm watching something like really engaging, and I'd never really get to switch off because I'm always either doing layouts or thinking of writing or doing, you know, it's always work-wise. So and if I do watch a film, it's something I'm like, I've decided to watch and I'm really invested in. So it was kind of nice just to watch whatever was on. And yeah, just like switch off and just enjoy whatever was on. So that was I'm sure everyone's like, I'm sure you're going like, yeah, that's what normal people do, but I don't normally get to do it. So yeah, I enjoyed the Christmas. My mum got me she got me that Sienkiewicz Artists New Mutants Artist Edition thingy. So I haven't cracked it open yet, but I'm dying to. Sorry, I am looking at reference through lamps right now because I had this idea of Vivek snootily running his finger over a lamp and seeing if there was dust on it. It's got to be the right type of lamp though. That's too fancy, I don't want to draw that one. That's not fancy enough. Yeah, I'll go with this one. Also, a lamp means it can be a good light source. So, see, I'm just literally just looking at photos of lamps on Google and just roughing this in. Although there's no base to this one, so we'll look at the base now. I assume you guys can all hear me okay and everything, because I'm trying out a microphone as well. Where we see Menace. I like reading comics like an old man in paper form. Me too. But sometimes when I had the iPad, or when I had the working iPad, I would impulse buy more. There's stuff that I'd be like, I'm sitting right here, I want to read something, I'll just buy something. Whereas I'm definitely more selective when I go to a comic store. And it's generally stuff that I've been really looking at, like artists I'm really into or something. I'm more likely to just try out a story, a new story in comicsology. But yeah, I did my taxes a while back, and I'm definitely spending more on paper than I am on digital. But there's definitely advantages to both, and I think there's a happy medium between both. I see. Well, it's the same things. Ooh, yeah, wash your feet with those Legos. David, had a good the new Pro. It's an absolute beast for video and audio editing and mixing. It's pretty much on par with my new MacBook Pro. I found it hard to justify shelling out. Yeah, it's $1.50. Like, wow. Oh, David, by the way, I was buying some music the other day, and I happened by a band called Zombie Picnic, and lo and behold, I found that you were in the band. Really cool stuff, man. Sorry, I meant to tell you on Twitter the other day, but I forgot. So, yeah, hats off for being super cool in a band. Yeah, I have not figured out what I'm going to do for the rest of this background. I just set this table and see lamp stand. Yeah, something like this will do. Oh, Ricky sat on the commission page for 30 minutes. Sorry about that. Yeah, I realised I had a little bit of time in January because I am starting back up on a project that I had to leave to do Wolverine. But yeah, I'm getting back to it. So I'm in the early stage. I'm doing layouts at the moment, and I haven't drawn anything since the break. So I figured some commissions would be a good way of what you call it, dusting off the cobwebs and whatnot. I don't know what you mean, David. Yeah, I was just putting away some. I tend to put books to the side and plan to read them, and then a couple of months later, of all these books that I have not read, and now decided to just put them on the shelves because they're just in the way, and I don't know when I'll get to read them. And I notice how much I'm running out of shelf space, and I have a lot of shelf space. So this is going to be the light source. So surely I need. Who's texting me? I need something here, maybe a bit of a frame. This one here. Oh, that's right, I did the flash. Yeah, Dave, yeah, definitely was a nice decompressing Christmas. I was planning on doing a bit more preparatory work, and I did some writing, but nothing crazy or anything. I met up with John Cullen as well, who's a really good cartoonist, but he just lives down the road from my mum. And went over drinks with him, and I just gave him shit about not putting together a sketchbook by now, because I've been telling him to do it for the last 2 years. Do not want to draw this whole table, so I'm going to suggest bits. Because this shadow would surely... Shadow would surely also... How long has the band been going, Dave? I saw it because a girl I know works in Whelan's posted, I think he did a gig recently, maybe, or well, not recently, maybe in the last couple of months. And the name stood out. I liked what I heard, and then the name stood out to me. And she said you were really good, so I made a note of it. But I don't know how I saw your name somewhere. Hey, John Le Studio. Oh, thanks very much, John. Cheers. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're aware. I've been streaming before, but it's been a while, and I was kind of just getting into it. What am I going to do here? It's to be black. I want this to be black. I want... Maybe there's a door open on the other side of the wall. which will cut this nicely. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay, I think I'm done penciling. Oh, cool, nice one. Well, I'm glad you can catch one now, John. 3 years to come came out this year. Gave the reviews and made a few of the best few albums. That's great, man. Man, that's fantastic. Fair play. Sorry, this one's half-hearted. I'm just trying to think of something, but there, that's one. That's amazing, man. Fair play to you. Oh, and yes, we're talking about music albums. Dave, I discovered Dave is in a band and checking out his stuff and complimenting him. Oh, sorry, my head's popping in there. So I'm just concentrating on getting that face right. Hi Simone, how's it going? Man, I feel I just realizing that we talked on this before. Feels like I know you way better than just somebody I know on Twitch. Where is my little pen? You tuned in just in time to catch my stupid face popping on the end of this screen. So to get back again, I'm fairly sure it's not a problem. There's someone streaming in a category that doesn't exist anymore. Alright. I don't know what category to stream in, to be honest. What was I streaming under? Fuck it, I can't remember, to be honest. But yeah, I'm open to suggestions. see how much I'm trying to figure this out in the inks. Art seems a bit broad, doesn't it? Yeah, well, that is what it is. Somebody was telling me that IRL is the one to do it in. I'll do art though. I'll do art in the future. I'll give it a lash. Where's me rubber? Yeah, it's grand. Okie dokie. Oh, do they? Oh, okay. Sorry, John was just saying they change up the categories every month. Yeah, it's been a few months since I've been here, so. To have any New Year's resolutions? Not really. Nothing I could promise myself to stick to. I think in general, probably finding some kind of proper exercise regime or something I can properly stick to, and try get. I think overall try to get more organized. Like if I can, I think my schedule just went all over the place in the last year or so. So if I can figure out a thing where I'm, doing a certain thing one day and another thing another day, and I can kind of plan out my my weeks a bit better. It's kind of hard when you're, editing something you're working on one day, and then you're drawing something else the other day, and then you're writing something else the other day. It's kind of hard. So I'm hoping to kind of be more on top of things this year. But yeah, generally I'm not really one for resolutions. How about yourself? Like my main issue these days is just that I have become fat, and it would be great to not be fat anymore. Yeah, I was doing a regular walk, and then I fell out of that. Like I'm weird. I get into good habits and I fall out of them just as easy. So I think it's actually good for the mind too. Even like when you get stressed out writing wise and drawing wise, just taking a break and walking is great. So and there's plenty of room to walk around here. So I am going to do that. Definitely, especially when like the job is so sedentary, Oh, yeah, I love dogs. Well, I got a cat. I'm good for pets right now. Do love dogs though. Oh, I don't. You need to walk more, Simone. You look fit as a fiddle. Yeah, I get you out walking without headphones. I walk with headphones plenty of times, but actually, I found what's helped me a lot is traveling. I did more traveling the last year, and not having access to internet and not having all the distractions all the time, or available right there and then, was kind of interesting because it reminded me of when I used to commute to college. I still live. I'm from outside a city called Limerick, and I used to commute in and out, and it's a pain in the hole, but it was great to kind of get the old brain thinking. I don't think that's the right shape to go for. I'm not using a ruler on this because I just want to keep it kind of loose, keep the background loose. We should probably save this for a wash. Okay, I'll leave it at that for now. I do need a ruler. Oh, that's good. So. Ooh. Thanks to those who are hosting me. I think that means I think I would know by now. That means you're sharing the stream with others. I think, right? But anyway, thanks. I cannot decide what to do with this. Oh, I know what I'll do. Light goes here. Yeah. Frames those legs. And then light comes up here. Perfect. Nailed it eventually. Get rid of this one. Okay. When I draw straight lines, you sometimes change the grip on the ink pen. Is that to keep your wrist straight? Do I? Let me think. I'm drawing a straight line. Oh, yeah, I think I know what you mean. I think it's because I tend to draw from my wrist, which I think technically you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to draw more from your elbow and your shoulder. But I think I tend to do this. I can't do if I try to do a straight line, it's just gonna wobble a bit. Whereas if I actually will draw from my elbow and shoulder when I'm doing a straight line, so I can just get a real. It's more straight. It doesn't blah 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 like that, you know. Yeah, I think that's what you mean. Our question: was there ever a distinct moment when you felt confident with a drawing, clothing, and fabric? Yes, I finally got a moment. Yeah, there was. I'm trying to think what it was. I think I had a friend. I have a friend who's a fine art painter. His name's Connor Harrington. He's a big sausage in the art world over in Londinium, but he was always particularly good at painting fabric. I remember, and I think I thought I was looking at his stuff, but I remember was being more considerate of that. Sorry, I stopped drawing because I'm talking. What was I doing? Yeah, tip pen. But yes, there's a Rocketeer drawing I did years ago. That in general I felt just clicked, and I remember everybody at the time was telling me that it was a really good piece, and I was really happy with it. And to me, that piece signifies a lot of stuff that I was trying that went really well, and it was kind of like for me personally, a game changer in my drawing, and it gave me more confidence, and clothing wise, I think I did really well with that. Also just taking more reference. I've been seeing a lot more people when I tell them to look at reference for clothing, and they're like, well, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Just take just take a photo." You know, people seem to think that you're cheating if you look at a photo, but like I looked at a photo for the folds here. That was a reference shot, and this was like I would say 70% of photo that I looked at online. You know, you gotta learn. But I can't think of it to answer your question properly, Simone. Simone, I don't think I properly remember one piece for being the one that like, yeah, I nailed it. But I remember a certain time where clothing was just making more sense to me. Also, there's what's his name? Who's the guy who drew Scalped? I know him. Just can't think of his name right now. Julie Briscoe was the colorist, Jason Aaron was the writer, and Oren Guerra. That's it. I had a really good chat with him in France a good few years ago, and he pointed out some problems I was having with clothing, and that was a very big help. He gave me some really good pointers that have stayed with me since. He's a lovely guy if you ever get a chance to talk to him. Really passionate, which is pretty infectious too. Hosting means anyone who goes to their channel will see your channel with a link to come here. That's cool. That's really cool, and thanks to you guys for doing it. I am probably the most clueless person on this platform using this platform. I do apologize. This guy is drawing. Hello, this guy is drawing. Thanks for stopping by. And your guys' stuff is coming through loud and clear. It's just I need to look up in order to read your stuff, and sometimes I'm just too in the drawing. Hello, sir, from Revealing Too Much. Well, sounds like you're revealing too much. Oh, thanks, man. Cheers. Nice to be on Twitch again. Once I decided to do these, I thought it'd be a nice excuse to get back on. Oh, thanks, John. Oh, cool. Menisk. It's weird, like sometimes somebody would point out something about what you're doing, and you're like, where? I am. Like, I'm slightly doing the same here with the straight. It's not a straight line, but it's definitely deliberate one line. If I'm making something one line, I tend to kind of, I guess I shift my my angle a little. Well observed. I think I would like to be streaming more often than I have the last few months, but I think maybe I was just doing it too much, and it's harder to wrangle the time when you're investing a lot of time. Maybe I should just do it once a month. I don't know. Better than not at all. I'm gonna do it once a week though for January anyway. because I took on the 5. I'll do 1 a week. That's the plan. No, not doing it with this straight line because I actually want it to be wobblier. Sorry. Are you guys happier with this this setup? Because it took a bit of wrangling to get it all together, but hopefully the video is the video should be way better. Looks fine, Lawrence. Fine. That's what I'm going for. But if you were before, I was doing it all off my camera phone, and I was looking at it on screen, and it looked very fuzzy to me. Now everyone was really nice about it, but I know I thought I could do better, so I borrowed a webcam and a microphone. Oh, good. Okay, great. Everyone seems happy. Okay, I think inking-wise, that's that. Break into the washes now. Hey, G Matrix. Nice to see you on here again. Or I guess that's really what you would say to me, because I'm the one who's been gone, not you. Let's see, where's tissue cup. Oh, cool. I'm glad his notes be better. That was the goal. Just clean my pen. Okay. Simone, do I know I'll be coming back up to the States for a convention or show? Yeah, I'm not sure. I won't be going to C2E2 or Emerald City Comic Con because I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going to something in the States around that time. It's a convention of sorts, but it's not like a fan show, basically. And I don't want to travel too often to the States in the same period of time, because then customs are all like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just on holiday." And they're like, "Again?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I try to keep my American trips spaced out a bit for that reason. But I'll definitely be in New York Comic Con, and I'm thinking of going to Miami in June. I was invited to a show there. And they might be the only American shows though, to be honest. I did a lot of travelling in 2018, and I've told myself that I'll take it easier this year, but I've already kind of committed to a lot. I might do another show. I've been invited to another show around the summertime, but it's just timing and schedule and stuff, really, you know. It's always like, yeah, I can't wait for that show, and then you're like, oh, it's that weekend. I'm supposed to be at a friend's wedding or something like that. Sorry, this line is actually too wobbly. I immediately regret going this wobbly. I really want to get out to the West Coast this year if I can, but I'll probably like just do some signings or something and not an actual show. Talk to people on my stream. There's Buffy. Oh yeah, give me Buffy and I'll. Yeah, put her on the Angel West. Oh, I got that joke. Oh, nice.
Look at that folded.
Yeah. Say hi, Buffy. I'm going to show you my cat. Yes. There's Buffy. Looks so pensive, Buffy. Look at you. Wondering what it all means. What is life, eh? Yeah. Look at me, are you? Oh, she doesn't like that pose at all. You okay? I'm going to put you on here. No, you don't like that either? Okay, come here. Oh, poor babe. Do you like that? Is that a good one? Would you pay money for that? No. Well, somebody did. Oh. You're a bugard. Yeah, it's my cat Buffy. Ooh, there's not enough space between the camera and the drawing board. Okay, I'm going to shove you in front of the camera one more time. Okay, be cool. Okay. There she is. Huh? She's just not into it. Okay, off you go. Yeah, sorry about that. Obligatory cat time. It is the internet after all. Yeah, she's pretty cute. She's cuter when she's like wanting food. She really puts on the charm then, I tell you that. Okay, where was I? Washes. Where's milk? Was it cat? Yes, I have a cat. Yeah, judging eyes. Everybody says hi, Buffy. Oh, you're looking at me. Are we okay? And now she's meowing. The pit, nib, and brush pen, the main tools you use for your pieces. Yeah. Well, it's not a pit. This was the brush pen you saw. Oh yeah, the pit pens. Yeah, I use pit pens, and I use the dip pen more than the pit pens, to be honest. I really try to save the pit pens for like small little details like this. I'll probably go in and just do a little bit more detail there. As much as possible, I try to keep it loose. But I mean, you know, you can only go so loose before you start getting ropey. I'm trying to find my buddy. I also use this guy for some reason. I can't locate. Give me 1 second. Where are you, you bollocks? Fucking used it last night. Ooh. What the bollocks is that? It's out of my pocket. Sorry for the dead air there. I am missing my yolk. Oh, there it is. 1 second. Right. Sorry about that. I'm glad Buffy's going down so well. I wonder if that gets meow with an accent. No, well, no, Buffy doesn't have an accent, I'm afraid. Oh yeah, so sorry, I was saying I use this as well, which is also a Pentel color brush pen, it's called. But what I do is, and long-term watchers will know this, but I'll take water, and I will mix various levels of. I'll take a couple of jars, and I'll mix various levels of grey. So I'll have a light one, and then I'll kind of build on that, and sometimes I'll have another darker grey that I'll build on top of that. So I basically have 2 different types of grey, yeah, that's how I do my washes when I do them. So you can see here, I am gonna do very light. I want this this wall to pop to the foreground. Show that so there's very rough light there. So what I'm going to do is go water. And I'm going to just back that up a bit. Now I want to go heavier with that, so this is an actual grey wash that I've mixed up, not the bit of water I had earlier. And now that I'm getting closer to the lamp, I'm going to just give a bit of water just to kind of soften this a bit. So that is just a little bit of shadow work there. I also want to shadow here. Now you're going to start hearing some meowing, and that's just a very annoying cat wanting food when she's actually fine. So ignore her. Aren't you fine, Buffy? Yeah, you're fine. She's just trying to like show me up on the internet now by making up like I'm some kind of cruel bastard, but I'm not. I said I'm not. You're a bully, Buffy. So with the washes, I just kind of I like just a nice kind of bump up on the values of things. That makes sense. Like this is a nice shadow, but I'm gonna like make it heavier here once it's all dry. I tend to do one tone and then see how it looks and then kind of bump it up a bit. Yeah, I'll always pick like a lighting point and work from there. Is standard Bristol paper. This isn't Bristol paper. This is what I normally work on, but for commissions, I just buy kind of whatever's handy and local. So I've been using this a lot. It's De La Rowney Smooth Heavyweight. It's essentially just a heavier cartridge paper, which I guess is frustrating for Americans because it's A4. It's not quite the same as what you guys use. I do have some Bristol board as well, but I never like it as much for some reason. It just doesn't kind of work for me as nicely. I don't even hear her in the background. Yeah, never feed my cat. No, she's this thing where she's like, "Oh, feed me," and then you feed her, and then she'll give me more. So you're like, "I'm gonna give you more," and then she gets sick. She gets sick because she eats too much too fast, but she doesn't have the sense to not do it. Don't get me wrong, you know, everyone overeats a bit, so I've included, but I don't barf afterwards. Well, not that you know of. Now, what I will do now in this case is, while I have white highlights, well, not white highlights, but I'm basically doing a tone on his skin, I will do an overall tone on the rest of his clothes. No white highlights. I don't want to over highlight anything else. Because, you know, while it is a lamp, you're standing next to a lamp, it's not a supernova. So, now I probably normally in black would figure out my lighting more, but for some reason I am not doing it in this case. I'm just going to do an overall flat wash and see how it looks. I'll wait till it dries a bit more, I think. I'll do some tighter highlights on his face, but if I do it now, I think it'll bleed too much. Same with his hair. Don't know white. Don't know white highlight in his hair. Actually, I probably wanted to do shadow on his lower lip. And yeah, because like a really intense highlight on everything, I think is just too much. So I really want to just keep it on his face to pop more, because there's so much more in the piece. I really wanted his face to be the thing that really stands out. There now. Okay, that's going to be black, so leave that alone. Okay. I also want this to be. Okay, I'm going to bust out some. Okay, that bled a little. That's not good.
Whoa.
That is unfortunate. Didn't mean that to happen, but. This paper seems to be bleeding a little, so I need to be careful, I think. Oh, thanks. Yeah, cheers. I'm just going to let that dry and see how it stains, and then go over it on top. Oh, yeah, I'm just getting abstract with the painting. It's it's not that important. Though it should really bleed off the page. Quiet, Buffy. So this is a darker wash. I'm gonna some bits a little bit darker. What I should do first is get too heavy. Need a darker tone here. Don't want to get too flat here in the foreground, so I'm just going to darken this a little bit. yeah, the whole point of like doing washes and stuff is to have more texture. I do like having texture in a piece if I can. Hello, Andre Cateno. Andre, hello. Thanks for calling by. Thanks to Albert, who is hosting me now. Thank you, sir. So you can see it's just, you know, it's not as flat a value there now. I will take a little bit of water and see if I can kind of just mix these together a bit better. So you don't want to load too much water because then the paper starts to get, you can see the paper starting to get a little bit peel and buckle a little. So yeah, you want to be careful. Okay. No, but same with this guy here, it needs to be darkened. No, it's better to go light first and then see if we need to go darker. You can't really go, you can't go dark and then go light. Yeah, I heard you before, Buffy. Thanks, Albert. Cheers. When doing washes for pages, do I leave room for colour suited textures as well, or is it mainly just your textures for washes? I go as much as I feel like I need to go in black and white. I mean, I'm not drawing for colour necessarily, but I certainly do try and leave room where I can. It kind of depends on what I'm going for. In general, yeah, like I don't, put it this way, I try and leave room for the colours if they want to do stuff, but I also don't try and I try and not put the colours in, leave them handcuffed, and I also try and not just lump it on the colours for them to figure out, because I know that can be frustrating for them. So it kind of depends, really. In general, I'm generally just doing a tone, and I mean, I would do something like this, but then that, you know, the colorist can just colorize this, but at the same time, you know, a good colorist will also probably maybe add something underneath that you can't quite see. If you look at the Injection hardcover came out recently, it's a book I draw, and we put in pages, finished pages, and pages without the line art, and you can see just how much work Jordi Belair did with all the colour, and like there's lots of painting and texture going on underneath. I think ideally it works together, you know. Oh, are you away, Simone? Oh, I hope you have a better evening. So there. I don't know, we've got the black now, I think. think the last thing I'm going to do is render the black on him because I want to see how the rest of it's looking first. Buffy's going mad in the background.
What you doing, Buff?
She's gone. What are you doing? Well, it's just a regular old scrappy brush that I use for filling in blacks and effects and stuff. Sorry, it's a bit boring part. It's basically filling in that, colouring in basically. But I think once this is filled in, I'll have a much better idea of how much I want to do on, how much rendering and stuff I want to do on Vivek. Because he's not like the most visual character to draw. You know, it's not a superhero or anything. Sometimes it's the other objects that make him interesting. up, Buffy? I think I need a bit of texture on this wall behind him now. So I'm just gonna my finger in a bit of I think I'll push it back a little bit more with washes when all the black's done. Dirty up a small bit. Don't know why he's in such a old, cranky, depressing room, but sure it does look cool. Sorry for being boring, guys. By all means, if you ask away if you have any other questions or. The plan was just to be playing loose with putting this bit in. she goes. Everyone's still hung up on Buffy. I nearly caught her against Joey, but she got wise. Menask. Yeah, I've got. Sorry, Menask is asking if I have any comics coming out soon. I think I was something coming out, whether it's a cover or whatnot. But Return of Wolverine issue 4 is out next week, I think. Of which I drew the whole thing. I drew all that issue. It's my last issue as well. And yeah, so you can pick that up. That's next week. I think the trade is out in February. I think nothing else I can reveal. I have something coming out, but I don't know when. I don't know when it's solicited. Between that and I go back to Injection, which is my creator-owned book. But, sorry, I'm just giving this a minute to dry. Right. Just doing another abstracty take on that painting. And now I'm going to go and render the. Oh, no worries, yeah, I mean, have a newsletter. If you go to my Twitter page, there's a link to my newsletter there, and I post every 2 weeks, and I always have a list of like what's coming up in the next 2 or 3 weeks on there. So if that helps, Cheeky. Check that out. I should actually link that newsletter on here now that I think about it. All your subs newsletter, but I'm from East Europe. My source cutoff date is before any references. Oh, I see. Well, I mean, yeah, I get you. I have a hard time keeping track of everything I have coming out, to be honest. But I try and like work like a month ahead, roughly. How far would you need, out of curiosity? And I'll try to keep that in mind. Problem is sometimes I'll do a cover for one book and then I don't know when that's coming out, and then it's out like very soon, and others don't come out for months. Oh, thanks for subscribing, by the way. Cheers for the cheers for the link, Brendan. cutoff date for February. So, sorry, I'm just reading up here. And the cutoff for February is 17th of December. Right, yeah, the cutoff for the US and UK is generally like roughly a month beforehand, I think. Right, I see. To be honest, half the time I wouldn't even, like, I only know, it sounds like your cutoff is right after you find out, because if 17th of December is pretty much 3 months beforehand, and it's 3 months when the solicitations come out, so Jesus, make it easy for you, does it? Okay, so I've got black spotting on him, so I'm going to do another render on his clothing just to come up with this. So let's even do a darker tone on his suit here. And just to bump up some of the value. Nearly there now. Sorry if you're all bored. As I do, it's harder. The more I get into a drawing, the harder it is for me to talk. But I'm more than happy to if you have questions and stuff. So what I'll do is I'm just going to spot the blacks here in his legs, and I'd say I'll knock off then because I really just need to do some touch-ups, and generally I stick my face right up against the drawing board then, and none of you guys need to look inside my ears. So yeah, I think I'll be knocking off now the next couple of minutes, just so you know. But if you enjoyed this, I would say I think actually no, not Monday, probably Tuesday next week I will do this again. I have 4 more commissions to do after this for January, so I'll be streaming for this month. I'll see how it goes. I like the idea of streaming once a week. I just don't know if it's practical to do with my workload. Some of those blacks were done with the colour brush as well. I'll just deepen them here with glass and ink. Oh, thanks, Minsk. Or Minsk. I'll do a little zoom in so you can see a bit better. So yeah, so I'm gonna, once this is scanned, this will probably all read as black. I think I've got to fix his eye, blacken his eyebrow, tighten up around the glove, little bits and bobs. I think you could do with some sharpening up. Okay, just a little bit more dirt, I think. A little scrape or something on the wall. So yeah, that's that. Let's see where's my I normally try to pick a less conspicuous place to sign my name. I'll do it here for once. So yeah, so Vivek Headland. All done. How long did that take? Let me see. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm guessing like 3 million hours. Right, cheers. Okay, I'm gonna head off, guys. So thanks a million. I'll be posting this online. Feel free to share it or whatever people do these days. But yeah, thanks a million, guys, and I'll see you next week.